Hey, I've got two lists on review for today, this first one is from someone going to. It's Simon Bregan. He's going to the South London Scrap tournament. The second one is also a tournament list, but from a player that's returning from V1. Welcome back. And wants to know if his list is competitive. So let's go and check out these lists, shall we? First up, Simon Brecken's South London Scrap. 15 order dice, 998 points. I really like going back to 1,000 points for V3. There's so much you can do, and we've all played around with that for a year now, where 1250, there's a lot of points. You can get everything, right? And you can take so many tanks, and yeah, that was cool, but I mean, the game is also fun because you're limited. You have to make choices, right? So I like going back to 1,000 points, actually. Soviets, lovely. Inexperienced officer, 21 points. Take the SMG while we can, us Soviet players. Scout squads, very, very good. Especially when you have missions where you have forward deployment, of course, infiltration, right? But even without that, they're still good because they get that +1 to their cover saves. That's always lovely. And then veterans with rifles, ideally, I think I would want these to have SMGs and be mounted up in some kind of transport. Not really seeing much use for 6 veteran dudes with rifles, as it is. If they had an LMG, I think they would be more useful. They could even be regulars and then backline holders with an LMG, for me. Sniper team most likely is not needed. I'm not seeing the use for snipers yet in V3. And I know there's a lot of people trying them, but I've yet to see a game where a sniper was decisive in any way. Dog mines, though, very, very good. Still very cheap for the money. It's 24 inches, and yeah, you only hit on a 4, but, I mean, you always hit on a 4, and it's 24-inch heat-seeking Panzerfaust. What is not to like? It's amazingly overpowered for the price. Double light mortars, lovely. Komsomolette, right? Correctly priced. The SU-76. The SU-76 is a very, very good tank, and it's one of those choices that I see a lot of Soviet players make. Basically, they're choosing between the SU-76 or the T-60. Those tanks are the ones that most competitive players gravitate towards with the Soviets. And the Su-76, because it can be a tank hunter as well with that medium AT gun, right? Yeah. And then an MGMC to go out and hunt that infantry. 12 shots, that's a lot of Daka coming out of that vehicle. So it's the new Daka Stuart. It's the open top 7+, very vulnerable in that respect, but it is a lot of shots, and they do have that +1 penetration against the infantry. So very, very deadly. Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm not necessarily sold on the Komsomolette. I'm not sure. Yeah, you could put dog mines and an officer into it and then outflank it, which could be fun. I think that potentially is Simon's plan here. And I'm not sold on the sniper, but the infantry section is solid, and the tank section also very, very good. Yeah, Simon, I think I would not change this list if I was you. It's just very, very, very good. Right. And then let's look at was this Matthew's list? Sorry, I forgot who it was that sent in this list. I think it was Matthew. Can I just go check for a sec here? Be bloody embarrassing if it is Brian. So many people send me email. By the way, my email is in the description if you want to send me stuff for any reason. Tournaments, lists, gifts for Christmas, whatever. Email in the description. Right, let's check out David's list. And he's the returning player. Sorry, Brian's list. He's the returning player from V1 who has a very nicely painted SS cavalry unit that he wants to field no matter what. You should. Cavalry is awesome. It will make you a much better player. 1250 points, 17 order dice, very good order dice count, nothing wrong with that. Officer with a pistol, just the way I run them, because save the points. And by the way, Brian, if you're not familiar with me and my content, I'm only talking about the competitive side of this, not whether or not this is thematic or beautiful or fun to play. Like I'm just focused on that. So officer with a pistol, that's the way I run it, because it's the cheapest version of, for me, the officer is just a morale bonus, right? That's what he does. He's the snap 2 and the morale bonus. So his combat ability is not important for me, so I'm just saving all the points that I can on that. Waffen SS Cavalry, full strength. Wow, this is an expensive unit. Yes, Fanatics, these guys will win every single close combat you throw them at, but they will lose guys every single time. A lot of people commented in my recent video on close combat that Fanatic Cavalry might be a thing, and yes, it might. However, for me, that is very, very expensive. It's the expensive 2 units for which you're buying 1 unit. So in terms of points, it's not worth it. But it is because it's veteran, because it's a tough fighter, because you have the reach, and you will win your close combats, right? You will win them, but you'll lose guys every single time. Now, is this worth it? Maybe not. I think you can get away with running 8-man veteran cavalry instead of 10. So that would cut down the points quite a bit, actually. Potentially at some point you might want to experiment with 6 or 7-man cavalry units. Having 10 men also takes up quite a lot of space on the table. They have a very large footprint, which means that they are more difficult to hide. So the way I run cavalry right now is in smaller units, and then I run them along my flanks, trying to get into the enemy's back lines, maybe even outflank them. And that's another way of running this. This is a Death Star, but I mean, you could experiment with both ideas once you get the hang of cavalry, and see what you like. Both of them might work. This would be, you'd play this old-style Napoleonic warfare. You'd basically rush them up towards an enemy where one of your guys can see the enemy in a straight line, and then hope for the first dice and charge, taking whatever casualties comes your way, right? But a 6-man cavalry unit would go along a flank, would jump from cover to cover until they get into the back lines where they can sweep up easier units. So it's 2 different ways of playing it. Gebirgsjägers, very, very good. Maybe they don't need all of this equipment, because again, you're making another Death Star unit. But, I mean, 4 Panzerfausts. 4 Panzerfausts are expensive. And if you have this many on this small of a unit, this is only 6 man at 170 points. You better be absolutely sure that you're going to kill something, right? So these guys, these 6 men, definitely need some sort of transport. And even at that, I think it's too many points sunk into this 1 unit again. Hair Grenadiers, but they are very good. The Gebirgsjägers, by the way, that Fieldcraft, also good. Hair Grenadiers with assault rifle, with LMG, as regulars. I think I would cut out the assault rifle. Just run him with a rifle. It's the LMG for this unit. That's what makes them. Those 5 regulars, they're backline holders. Or that should be their role most of the time anyway, if you run them optimized. which means that it's the LMG that's doing most of the work. So the assault rifle is most likely wasted points. The Feldschirmdummy, very, very good. All pistols, traffic direction. Yeah, keep them out. Keep them trafficking. Company commander, so for the sweet snap too. Oh, yes. And here comes the half-track. U304 half-track. 12-man capacity. 3 MMGs regular. So this is a tank with 12 dudes inside, so he's putting the Gebirgsjägers inside it, maybe even the Heergrenadiers, because that is 6, that's 11 plus the company commander, that is 12, so that is a half-track bomb that he sends up, and he can absolutely destroy because it's 1 activation. Don't get too close to that if you're playing against Breen here, because that is dangerous. Very nicely set up, Breen. Very nicely. I like it. Heavy weapons platoon, officer with a pistol again. Double light mortar, the triple light mortar. Then we're into the territory of doing UFO. These light mortars again, difficult to play. I've done it. It worked. Didn't win all my games, but you know, it worked. But it is difficult to play, and a lot of players have written and told me that light mortars don't work, but I disagree massively, and we can see on my channel how many people actually gravitate towards those light mortars now. They're everywhere, because they work for the points. So keep them for late in the turn, or just have them go down. They don't need to shoot every single turn. AT rifles, also very, very good. I would not run them in experience. I'd maybe save a couple of the points on what we've been talking about and upgrade these to regulars, just because that -1 to hit, it sucks. And then we have the Daka Panzer, still very, very good. 165 points. Command vehicle on that. An Opel Blitz with a light autocannon. Yeah. Because it's damage value 7+, I like that. It makes it into a miniature tank. The looks, very, very good. Very good, because it's fast. You can really move that up. So the Panzer looks and the Opel Blitz both are good flanker tanks. They need to move up along the flanks where they can get into sides, maybe even rush into point blank range and shoot that light autocannon at +3 instead of +2. And another Opel Blitz. Yeah, really nice light vehicle section here. Very, very good. I think, Breen, you're in a very, very good place. Your infantry Death Stars are very expensive, but that also means that they're very survivable, especially the cavalry, right? See if you can find some way to hide them. If it doesn't work out for you, then cut down on the cavalry, the amount of cavalry, and still run them, because I think maybe you could potentially even cut this in 2 and run them successfully. I think there is something there. Right, that was it from me today. I hope you had fun looking at lists. If you want to send me stuff, remember, email in the description. See you next time. Cheers.